Hello and welcome to another episode of the Bearded Goods Podcast. My name is Brandon Smith. I'll be your host. Today, my guest is Toron Rodgers, aka Carolina Boy. Toron is kind of like a jack of all trades entertainment. He does everything from directing to acting to writing to comedy. He's a really interesting guy. If I could sum him up with one word, it's professional. Professional and just an all-around nice guy. Anyway, I hope that all comes through here in the podcast today. Give us a listen, and I do appreciate you guys joining us. Here we go, Toron Rodgers. Make sure everything sounds good. Yeah, and there should be a blue light coming on that microphone. Lift up. Yeah, right there. That blue light, that's kind of what you want to try and talk into.
Okay.
Yeah, you can adjust it, move it, however you need to do. Cool, man.
Yo.
So, Toron Rodgers, right?
Absolutely.
AKA Carolina Boy?
Carolina Boy.
All right. So how you doing today, buddy?
Yo, everything is good.
Good?
Everything is good.
Yeah, man. So I met you, me and you met up at a Smoke and Joke from Jermaine's thing, right? And we exchanged numbers and just kind of didn't talk for a little while. And then we got booked on the same show coming up. And I saw you post up on Facebook. You got some movie stuff going on. And you do some independent film stuff. And man, I just really wanted to get to talk to you and get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah, no doubt. It was definitely a good meeting with the, that day at the Smoke and Joke. It didn't work out the way we wanted it to, but
not that time.
Everything happens for a reason, though.
Yep.
So, with the projects that I got coming up, man, like I posted on Facebook, I'm looking for actors, actresses, singers, artists. I need people to draw because I got like just a plethora
of stuff. Set design.
Yeah, so we like the first thing that we're working on now is there's an animation that that's cool, man. So you got hooked up with some animators? Yeah.
Cool. So tell me about it.
Absolutely. There's a company right here in Raleigh called Break Iron Animation and Design. Great company. They've worked on Hollywood projects, and you will never know it. And it's a husband and a wife team, Charlie and Lisa Break Iron. Great people. And met them through a mutual friend, and we were introduced, and things just kind of clicked, So they read one of my projects called Puppy Love, and they offered me to do it. They're gonna shoot like a 1.5-minute trailer for it.
Oh, nice. So they're gonna cut together like an animated little 1.5-minute trailer for it. That's cool. And they came to you with it. That's good.
Yeah. So that was the part that was, man, truly like overwhelming for me, really. You know what I'm saying? Because just understanding what goes into an animation, and
there's a lot. And
the way Mr. Charlie is breaking it down to me, it wasn't, okay, give me what you got and step off. No, he included me in the process. So I had to go through and draw the characters that are going to be in the trailer. And then they take them from there and do all of the digital stuff.
Yeah, they make it look.
Yeah, 3D.
Yeah, they make it look good.
Yeah,
they take a little sketch idea and turn it into something.
Yeah, so that's probably the biggest thing right now. I think you and I spoke before, and I mentioned that I went down to Atlanta, and I met with John Bryant, aka BJ, a guy that's been in the industry for a while. And he's now the vice president of a production company in Atlanta called Visionary Ideas. So he was interested in a couple of my projects, but when he heard about the animation, that kind of, his eyes got big.
Yeah, he was like, all right, now we're talking.
Yeah, so when his got big, mine got big.
Right, yeah.
And at the time, the script was only 41 pages. So he was like, no, it's got to be full, an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I went back in, just finished the writing on that a couple weeks ago. Well, no, actually last week. That I went in and added the 50 more pages to it.
Yeah. So you've got, is it putting together like an animated series, or is it like a movie?
This would be just a movie.
A movie?
Yeah. And that's the first one that we're working on. And as far as in the path of animations, I have 3 more that I kind of have ready to go. And so that process has been like really good. Then we have, 2 pilots that we're trying to shoot, hopefully this summer. Nice. So I put out that call for actors and actresses and stuff like that. And what I'm really trying to do is build like a catalog of people that I can go to at any time.
So what we're saying is if you guys out there are listening and you're actors, actresses, musicians, set design, fashion, artists, anything like that can help out in the film industry or production industry in any way, they can hit you up. Where can they hit you up at?
They could go to my Facebook And pretty much everything is at Toron Rodgers. And Toron is Toron, just like Toronto, Canada. I tell everybody, if you think of that,
leave the toe off.
Absolutely. And Rodgers is Rodgers. My family was bougie. So they
were like, we're switching stuff.
Yeah, they wanted the D in it. So it's at Toron Rodgers for Facebook, Instagram, and also my email. Email is toronrodgers@yahoo.
There you go.
So of course, I'm not big right now, so any response that you're getting directly from me.
Directly,
right? Yeah. I don't have a staff. Yeah, there's no staff that's answering on my behalf. So and I try to respond back to every single person, and I just posted that on Facebook with some of the comments and things that I get. I comment back. Like, I don't leave people hanging, because I hate when I do that.
Yeah, no, it's always good, man. It's always nice to, if you're actually trying to reach out to somebody, to hear back from the person who's actually posting it up too.
Absolutely.
Not like their team of people or something. Like, well, we'll get it to them. Oh, that's great. That won't ever happen.
No, like it's
they reach out to you, they get you.
They get me.
That's good, man. I saw also that you are down in North Carolina's film festival.
Yeah, that was great. I'm a part of an organization called Eno River Media Production. I was just voted onto the board in December. No, let me pause. In the end of October, I was voted onto the board of the Eno River Media Production. And the same individual that introduced me to Charlie and Lisa Break Iron was the same individual that put my name out to come on the board of Eno River. So this year was their first film festival. It's called the North Carolina Film Festival.
Where was it held at?
We had it in New Bern at Craven Community College.
Yeah.
So
down
it was
on the coast.
Yeah, it was the first one. I'm sure we all wanted to, pack it, but we had a great number of people there, and the organization of the whole thing was it was mind blowing. Justin Yates, he was down there. Eric, their parents. I know I'm gonna leave some people out, but Dustin, James. There's also a company down that way called Nightmares. I want to say it's Nightmare Studios, but they do a lot of.
I already like it based on the name alone.
Yeah, what I'm saying? Nightmare. I think it's Nightmare Studios, and then there's also Silent Edge. So it was a collaborative, event, and it was great.
Yeah.
And so we spoke on. They showed everything was just planned. We had like the main auditorium room. Then we had a room for anybody coming to audition for the Nightmare. I think it's Nightmare Studios. If it's not that, forgive me, but it's Nightmare. I know Nightmare is in it.
But we'll redact it.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? We'll do a voiceover.
Yeah. At blah, blah, blah. Studios.
Yeah. So they had a room for anybody coming to audition that they allowed me to sit in on. And they had a makeup room where they were turning people into zombies because like the whole Nightmare Factory.
There we go. Now we got it.
So that's what they do. And just top-notch makeup artists. And oh man, it was great. You know what I'm saying? So it went from like 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And everything, the timing on everything, which is good. Everything stayed.
Everything flowed.
Yeah, it was a nice flow.
Good.
And
there's people, they bring people in, they showcase some local filmmakers.
They deal with Film Freeway, where a lot of people submit their films. And they do like the North Carolina Awards every year. But this was the first year that they took it to an actual festival. So there was one guy who was there with his film. And I was just in different rooms because I was so blown away. Like I didn't sit in the main theater room the whole time. And then we had another room that was showing more adult content film.
Yeah.
So I was so caught up in the auditioning and the makeup, I forgot to even go into that room.
Yeah, to even watch some of them.
Yeah, so it was great. And then, surprisingly, like I looked at the at the list of the timed events, and I saw my name going on at 3 o'clock. I wasn't sure for what, but we went on, had a just had a great conversation with Eric. And Eric is a part of a film that won awards. It was called Detour. It's a short film they shot here in North Carolina.
For some reason, it sounds really familiar.
Yeah, it's won awards, and so it's a great group of people. And I'm actually working with his wife next in June. We're shooting a short film here in Raleigh, downtown at Nash Square.
Cool.
Titled Admit One. And so it's like my first directing project of someone else's script.
Okay, so you're taking on somebody else's script, and you're like, okay. So now they're trusting your vision on their script. Yeah.
Yeah. So at first, I can't even front. Like it was a little nerve wracking initially, like reading the script, and then I guess just hoping that I capture what they were writing,
capture that emotion, capture what they're feeling, what they're seeing in their head when they're writing it. Exactly. Yeah, it's a tough one to jump in on.
Yeah, because even the guy that wrote the script, he won't be there, so he's gonna see the final product. So he'd probably be like, "That's not what I had mine at all." You know,
but that's the artist's fears and insecurities coming out, because that's the artist in you.
Yeah,
going, this guy's not going to like it. This guy's not going to like it. When they trusted you with it in the first place, they're going to like anything you give them. It's only you that's really fighting yourself on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
so with that, Eric and China, I'll be working. China is one of the stars, and it's only 2 actors in this project. I admit one, and it's China. She was in the movie Detour. You know, again, I got the award, so I'll be working with, people that was on an award-winning.
That's awesome.
Project. So now I gotta hope,
that's gotta feel good.
And
an extra level of pressure too, right?
A little bit,
but you're welcome to it. Right?
The team that everybody that's coming together, because everyone that was at the film festival with the Nightmare Factory and Silent Edge and River, we're all coming together. So and that's in what I was kind of getting to when I first got the script. The nervousness was there, and even just like, I don't really want to direct somebody else's stuff.
Yeah.
But once we sat down, had our first initial meeting, and just the support that everybody was showing, and it was amazing. You know what I'm saying? So it was
I know how it feels. I'm ready to sit down in the room, and you get that great group of people, and everything all of a sudden just clicks, and you're like, "Yeah, this feels good. This feels right."
Yeah, and even the editor, Miss Susan Daly, she's out of Wake Forest, and she was like, "Toron, look, you could either direct or you could dictate." So you could direct and allow other people to come in, or you could be the dictator and look, this is my project. This is how I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And the funny part, like, they've given me that authority.
That option.
But it's not my character, though. You, yeah. Nah, so I'm going to be like, let's do it like this if you really want to. If you really can.
You're like, all right, we're going to do it just like this time if it works for you to do it that way.
Is that okay?
Is that all right? You're okay doing that?
So I'm really looking forward to it. Again, we're going to be filming that. June 2nd is our first scheduled date, and we should be able to get it done, everything on that day.
Oh, all the filming in one day?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like one location, 2 people.
How long is the what's your length that you're looking for?
It's a 12-page script. So you normally average out a minute per page, when dealing with it like that. So but, of course, there's going to be several different takes and
for sure,
and things like that.
The editing's going to take a lot more than the filming.
Absolutely, which is, I'm glad I'm not doing the editing.
Yeah.
But so Miss Daly is, and she and I are actually meeting downtown tomorrow.
Nice.
Just to kind of, she's taking a lot of the work. She's going to kind of block it. So we'll have all of that for the director of photography. Drew, apologize, I can't remember Drew's last name, but a very, very experienced gentleman named Drew is going to be doing the filming for us. So we're going to get everything kind of blocked and storyline for him. So once we get there, as long as the actor and the actress knows their lines, then it should be like just quick.
Should just come together.
Yeah, it should flow.
So you obviously have a passion for film.
Love it.
Where did this passion get born? Were you just watching TV one day and you're like, man, I just love movies?
Well, it was more or less watching movies and...
Are you more in love with... I'm sorry to cut you off. I just thought of another question. Are you more in love with the cinematic aspect or the storytelling aspect?
Both. Now both. Since I've been on the side of filming and been behind the camera in some cases, cinematic, like everything. I want a great story.
Yeah, well,
because you could have like the best camera. You can have like the top notch equipment. You can have $1 million camera if they make that. But if your story's no good, if your story's no good, then it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
So I love just seeing the pieces come together, and then being on both sides, being one that used to be in the theater watching a movie, just accepting it as it is. Now being on the other side, seeing what it takes to put it together. So like, I just love it, but at the same time, it's kind of a curse too because I'm seeing flaws.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You'll see flaws that other people won't see.
Yeah, and then
you'll be like, man, I'm paying attention to this way too much. When the passerby or the end product, the user is going to not even notice.
Absolutely.
And if the off chance the person does, then good, they have a good film eye. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Other than that, you kind of got to deal with it.
Yeah.
So what? Back to the original question, because I bounce around a lot.
No, that's great.
What drew you? What drew you in, man? What got you? What said, you know, I want to start making. I want to pick up a camera. I want to put it on somebody, and I want to tell a story.
Well, to me, a lot of movies that I was watching, and it started back in 2001. Up to that point, movies just became predictable. It's entertaining, but still predictable. And I'm like, okay, I wonder if I could create something myself that I just want to win one person over. You know, I know they were like, that's the cliche. You leave one person. Yeah, well, that's the cliche that I live by. So I actually wrote my first story. I was working in Old Navy in Omaha, Nebraska. I was in the back in the dressing room area where people come back, we give them a number, they go. It was a slow day. I had some napkins and I just had this idea of a story. And I just started jotting it down. My coworker came and she started reading it and she was like, wow, are you going to finish it? So it was born from a napkin.
From a boredom time.
And a bored day at Old Navy in Omaha, Nebraska. But ever since then, right now I have right at 205 projects that are copyrighted.
Nice, man. That's awesome. That's
of all genres, you know, from the animation to the horror, you know. So
I can add maybe like one or two more to those.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
So the film, like, so you wrote that story down. Did you ever get to actually filming that one out?
Nah, I didn't. So during that period, it was more of, okay, what can I continue to write?
Right.
So
you kind of fell in love with the writing of the story, like you having the idea, like, man, this is cool, man. I can put something together and people are kind of digging it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was bitten off that part, but then I was more like writing out the whole story. Nothing was script. You know, I didn't have a script. And I think the very first, I can't remember the very first one that I did, but in 2000, so that was in 2001 when it started, but in 2008, there was one we actually shot, and it was called How We Roll, where it was two best friends coming up in the motorcycle world, but they were kind of like crime related as well. So, yeah. But we shot that in 2008 right here in Raleigh, and the best feeling was one night we had Highway 70. Highway 70 bypass. I had it scheduled for 2 cars to ride beside each other. I had 7 motorcycles to ride down the middle of those 2 cars on the highway. I'm standing up in the back of a pickup truck with the camera on a tripod. But after the first take, and we did it 4 times, we had an exit. There was like a 2-mile span from exit to exit. Mm-hmm. So we went up and down 4 times, getting different angles. But that was the best night. And I didn't hit stop, immediately. So you could hear me after the first scene, just jumping in the back of the truck, cheering, and there's cars and everything coming and people passing us at that point. But that's when it really became real, that this is something that I really, really want to do for the rest of my life. So
that's awesome, man.
So ever since then, it's just been trying to create story after story.
I grew up in this little white trash neighborhood, and me and my buddies like to skateboard, man, and we'd always go build our ramps out in the street and shit like that. But we eventually saved up a little bit of money, went to a pawn shop, bought a video camera, and started just filming a skate. And that's how I started falling in love with it. Yeah. You can see kind of like my rig is still kind of like the skateboarder rig right over there. Mm-hmm. You got the little steady cam. You can ride on whatever. But started filming like that. Then I had an idea for I went and saw the Blair Witch Project. Oh, yeah. And I was like, man, come on. So me and my buddies all got together. I think I was like maybe 14 or 15. Mm-hmm. And I was like, dude, we should do a spin-off of it called the Poot Scootin' Horn Tootin' Billy Goat. So this video is floating around somewhere. It's in cassette form, not cassette, VHS form. Right. I found it probably 10, 15 years ago, and I've lost it since then. If it ever turns up, I want it to be on the internet. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. It was just, improv. We did I think it took 50 takes to get one shot where I just wanted my friend to flush the toilet, and then the camera panned over into his room, and then he talks about trying to go hunt it. But every time we'd flush the toilet, everybody started cracking up. I feel bad. His water bill is probably huge that month, but it was just a bunch of me and my friends running around in the woods with a light and a camera. And with the Poot Scoot Horn Tootin' Billy Goat itself was my buddy's dog with like some mask we had put on her. You know what I mean? Like it caught a glimpse of it. It was the dumbest thing, but we had so much fun filming it.
Absolutely.
We had two VHS
video cameras.
Yeah, no, not even video cameras, like the
VCRs.
Yeah, VCRs. Yeah. God, I should know exactly what those are. We had two VCRs, and my mom had gotten me this for Christmas one year. Got me this little like editing board that came with like wipes and transitions, and you could plug audio into it and everything. So we were able to put a little bit of music onto our skateboarding videos and just started editing all that together. We shot that, and then we shot The Legend of Pimp Daddy Pete, I think is what it was. It was about two cops chasing after this pimp. This is just all dumb comedy stuff, man.
Yeah,
but I mean, we were kids, dude. But that's what was most fun for me was just picking that up and then going back, and then you're able to see yourself. One, you're like, oh, that's cool. I'm on TV. But then your ideas just coming together and then getting people to like buy into it.
That's the biggest part.
And be like, you know what? I'll do that. You know, I'll say these lines. I'll dress up and run around like an idiot in the woods. You know what I mean? Yeah, we can use my dog. Sure. You know, and then you film it and it all comes together. And whether it's trash or not, it doesn't matter as long as everybody had a good time. And it's something that you started and you finished.
That's the biggest
thing. And then you go
there.
on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But then ever since then, I've been hooked on filming and doing that kind of stuff. And, I got that camera. I'll film. I do film some drag racing stuff for some old friends of mine, and I might try and get into like shooting like little Facebook commercials for local businesses. I've thought about just going out on a weekend. It's something I can do on a weekend project. I can do it by myself. You go out, get an hour, just for an hour, shoot some B-roll, then sit down for another hour and talk to the people, and come back here on a Sunday and edit,
chop it up. Yeah, I had the same idea to do the same thing, like just with products that are already established.
Yeah.
Just do something and give it to them and see what they think.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
You just never know. Like they be like, "Yeah, we're looking for something fresh and new."
Well, you know, X amount of dollars is yours, buddy.
Absolutely.
So you do doing the film stuff. What else you got? You do comedy too. That's another big thing. So like, that's where we kind of about the same. We both enjoy doing. I'm getting a message from somebody. I'm being an irresponsible host. Anyway, we both do comedy. We both do filming and stuff. You're way more into filming than I am. You're at a level that I'd like to try and achieve. Okay. But we have that same background, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to get you in here and talk. And so we're doing comedy. We got a show coming up May 5th, right? Yeah. The Blue Martini?
Is it the Martini or Oasis?
It used to be the Blue Martini, and now it's the Blue Oasis. Blue Oasis,
on Wilmington Street.
In Wilmington Street. And that's May 5th at, I think the doors are at 7?
5. 4 shows at 5.
Shows at 5. You come at 7, you done missed it. I'm a horrible promoter.
Yeah, it's the Blue Oasis. Oh, Wilmington Street. Come
on, see the doors closed. Everybody, all the cars pulling out of the parking lot at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll still blame guys.
Yeah,
like crowd was late.
So yeah, come on out and check us out. But so comedy, man. What made you make that jump? What made you make that leap into comedy? Were you sitting there working at Old Navy, starting to write some comedy bits down in the back too?
This was just recently, probably over the last. Anybody that knows me know, like I love to laugh about any and everything. Sometimes probably not the right time to be laughing, but I'll still find that silver lining or something that make me laugh. Like over the last year or so, all I've been doing is listening to this different stand-up comics, and from Eddie Murphy to Louis C.K. with as much flack as he's getting now.
Yeah, I got nothing.
But anybody in between, of course, Tiffany Haddish and Tracy Morgan and Joan Rivers. Yeah. Oh my God, some of her comedy is crazy. So I listen to a wide range of comedians, and I have some real close friends that are comics as well, that are professional. So I was like, I want to try it. So I went out to Good Nights. So like I went through that process, email in. If you get picked, then you're on the show. But if you don't get picked, you can still go to the show, put your name in the thing. So
the raffle.
I did that for a month, and I was sitting and watching. What really, I guess, made me okay with it was accepting the fact that I may get booed. So, and I can handle it, So once I was able to accept that, the night that I got caught that raffle.
Yeah.
And I was ready. I was ready. And probably that night, what made it easier for me too was 2 or 3 of the guys who went on before me. They got crickets. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, I bet I won't be the worst of it.
Yeah, right.
You know,
if anything, I'm going to be forgettable. You know what I mean? Those guys did it. I'll go up. I'll do it. Next guy goes up. He can kill it. They'll forget all about me.
Absolutely. They'd be like, yeah, 5 guys didn't do anything, you know, but it wouldn't be. So after that, I went on that night at Good Nights and they laughed. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm just searching for that one person because if I get one person, we can have a personal conversation.
That's right. That's how I feel when I get up there at Good Night stage too. And those lights, man, those lights at Good Nights, they hit you, and it's a different vibe. It's not even that big of a room. It's kind of like an intimate room. Yeah. But when those lights hit you, you only see like the first 3 rows, and you don't know what anybody else is doing. You know what I mean? So then your mind starts to wander, and you're forgetting your bits and stuff that you have written, and you're like, man, this is ridiculous. I got to get out of my own head. But then when you hear that one person laugh, you're like, okay, me and you can click. I always end up finding somebody like front or second row that's like really digging what I'm doing. Yeah. Because then you'll see like that old couple or that other couple that'll be sitting over there just like that stale face on their look like, you are not funny. You need to get off. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Right.
So you kind of like, why did you even come out? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Some people come to a comedy show just not to laugh. To be, yeah. But it went great. Like my first night was a success for me. You know what I'm saying? Like there was applause and cheers when I went off stage. So I'm like, yeah, I got to do this again. Yeah, so I
get that. You got bit.
Yeah, so I caught another night at Good Nights, and that night was cool too. But I had a night where it was just, you know, it wasn't so well. I still got some laugh, but and so right now I'm still trying to find my flow.
Yeah, trying to find your voice on stage. Yeah, so, that's where I'm at. I think I talked to you a little bit about it. I'm trying to put the guitar down a little more and trying to pick up just the mic a little bit more. And it's a different feeling, man. Yeah. It's a totally different feeling when you're up there and then you stop talking and there's no noise. I'm used to noise. You know what I mean? I got a guitar going or something. I'm used to having something. And when there's nothing and they're not doing anything, you're just like, I'm failing. Even if you just came off a big laugh and they're just trying to catch their breath and you're paused and you hear that silence, you're like, I'm not doing a good job.
Yeah, so you got to keep trying to find that steady flow is crazy. And I had the pleasure, there's a friend of mine, like again, who's kind of tied into the industry, and he got us tickets last weekend to go see Marlon Wayans at the Improv. Yeah. That's a nice club.
I haven't been there yet.
Really nice. So his host is a guy named DC, and Marlon was funny. You know, he was funnier than I thought he was going to be, you know, just seeing him being an actor. And a lot of times a person may be a funny actor, but getting him on stage, it's a different. He did a great show.
There's actors and comedians.
Yeah. So
they can both be each other, but you have to you can't have an actor do comedy. You can't have a comedian just be an actor. Yeah. You have to have some type of skill in both.
Yeah. His show was great. He did a great job, and his host was just so laid back. And I'm like, yo, that's kind of
I want to be. I went and saw K. Trevor Wilson a couple weeks ago at Good Nights. Okay. And I don't know if you ever watched the show Letterkenny. But he's the guy, he plays Squirrely Dan on there. It's a hilarious show. Gotcha. But I just sat back and I was watching his delivery and how he was doing everything and his professionalism while he was on stage. And I was like, I came home and I straight up wrote like a whole nother 5 minutes when I got home. Wow, that's what's just up. Because I just felt inspired. Like I had like the bits kind of going in my head, but I was just able to kind of put them together and have like a flow start going. I'm like, this is what I need. Like I need like a shot of this every now and again. Absolutely. Because I find that I would overload myself on Netflix or something like that with all these comedy specials, and then I go to try and write, and I'm writing like, you know, like Joe Rogan writes, or I'm writing like Diaz writes, or I'm writing like, you know, like Kreischer writes or something like that. And I'm like, I'm not trying to write like that. I'm trying to write like me. Right. And I'll find myself writing stuff like that, or just straight up I'll end up with a punchline that's their punchline. I'm like, I got to lay off. So I took like a hiatus. I've taken like a couple months off from watching comedy just so I could get my feel back for like my material.
And I catch mine, it'd be completely random. So I have a list of different, I'll have an idea, basically my bullet points. And I'm like, okay, how can I make that funny? And that's a challenge within itself. That is. So especially when you get somebody to laugh off of something like that. So like one hit me yesterday, like, you know, the way black people tell you, you know, when you're at their house and the way they were like, you know, they're ready for you to leave without saying leave, like the creative ways we say stuff, it's like, well, what you about to get into? You know what I'm saying? You know?
So what you getting into tonight? Where you about to head out to?
Yeah, you know, so there's never, look, you've been here long enough, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, so what you about to do? You know? But just something like that.
The thing is, that's universal too.
Absolutely. So, and I think with comedy, a funny part about comedy is just when you in the audience or you on stage and they're like, wow, I thought I was the only one.
Yeah.
I think that's the funny part, like how we're kind of connected without even speaking about it, you know? So it's been great, man. And like, I just love to see people laugh because I feel like when people are laughing, everybody's good.
Yeah, that's why I have that same feeling, man. Like, I love making people, I could be in a shit mood. Like, I could be in the biggest asshole mood ever. But if I'm in that asshole mood and I start ranting and I'm trying to be funny in my rant because I'm trying to get myself out of being an asshole mood, but I can get somebody laughing when I start ranting. Dude, I can go from pissed off for 6 hours to totally fine in 2 minutes. Yeah. If I can get somebody else laughing, I'm like, I made that person feel good. I kind of feel good. I feel good. Yeah. I'm good to go. Let's go. Let's do this.
And I guess like the irony on my part, like I don't consider myself a funny person. Yeah. And doing stand up is when people that know me and like grow up with me, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm doing stand up. They're like, really? You know, because I've never been considered. I wasn't a class clown.
Right. Yeah. See, I was.
And well, I was scared of my mother.
Oh, I was too. Yeah,
get in trouble. But I was never that one. Like I have a friend. His name is Demetrius, but we call him Meat. He doesn't have to do anything but you will laugh. He just has that just natural that aura. Yeah, so
that presence.
And I know that's not me, but I feel like I can create the material again, enough stuff that people can relate to. And if my delivery on stage is good, then I'll get those laughs. But like I've never considered myself like a funny guy.
A funny guy.
Yeah. But it's
I've always been told I was the funny guy. It was never me considering it. They're like, you're fucking funny. I'm like, I'm just saying what comes to my mind, man. Yeah. If I'm funny, that's cool. I like it. I like being the funny guy.
Yeah, sometimes being real definitely, you know what I'm saying? Because again, a lot of times you will say those things that people want to say but won't say. Yeah. You know, so
that's where I'll find myself too when I'm writing out and I'll start typing something out and I'll say that thing that other people wouldn't say. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there writing and then I'll go back and read it and I'll start second guessing myself like, should I say that? Should I say that? But like if it comes to mind, I feel like I should just say it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
that's the flow of it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, once you try to go in and alter it, it's not going to work. Yeah. So however, when you were writing it and the way it came to you, it's just funny, but like that's the way that you have to, at least the first time.
Yeah, because when you go to try and memorize it,
you know, it's not going to.
You're not going to get there the same way if you do it different. Yeah. So, you said you worked at the Old Navy. You said Arkansas?
No, Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, but I'm originally from a small town here in North Carolina called Williamston.
Where's that at?
20 to 30 minutes outside of Greenville, North Carolina. So,
I know I've seen the name on the map. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Being in Raleigh, anybody that goes to the Outer Banks, straight down 264 through Rocky Mount, those little small towns. Yep. You go through Williamston. But of course, people are more familiar with ECU. Yeah. And so it's like right outside of Greenville. And,
cool. So you moved around a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I've seen some of the country. I've never left the country, but I lived in Nebraska a total of 3 years. And it's cool out there. I enjoyed it. It's laid back. I have fun, you know. Yeah. And I lived in Connecticut for a short point. Very, very short point. Oh, man.
I went up to Connecticut to build some metal car washes with a friend of mine. Me and him got a job doing that. And we were up there for a month. What's the colleges up there? Is it Yale? Or is it Harvard? One of the Ivy League ones is like right there.
I think it may be Yale.
I think it's Harvard or Yale. I don't know. I was never in that bracket to worry about going to those kind of schools. I was like, I'm going to go party at State. I'm not going to go to State. I'm just going to go party with all my friends that are going to State.
Yeah, that's why I lived at ECU. Yeah. I lived in the dorm, but I didn't.
Yeah, right. But I didn't go. We went up there to build some metal car washes, and while we were there, our trailer got stolen, and like it was just like one thing after another that has just turned me off of that whole area of the country in general. I'm just like, I'm not going back to Connecticut ever. Yeah, unless I have to go through it. I'm just not going to stop.
Well, I did want to go to Wahlburgers because I was like 2 hours from Boston.
Okay.
Where I was
That's
in
fair
a town called Middletown, Connecticut. So I was 2 hours from Boston, and I've been just a Wahlburgers, like Mark. I want to work with Mark so bad.
Yeah. And KOTB?
Mark Wahlberg? Huh? Say what?
And KOTB, New Kids on the Block, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Back when Mark Wahlberg was Marky Mark.
Marky Mark was Marky Mark in the Funky Bunch, and it was his brother, Donnie.
Yeah, Donnie was in the KOTB.
But that was my group too. Please Don't Go Girl was my song, yo. It was funny. We had back then it was easy to call in a request line on the radio station.
Yeah.
So I would call in,
request line.
and I would call in and ask for that song every night. Please Don't Go Girl. So I was probably in the 6th grade or something like that.
Yeah.
I would call and request Please Don't Go Girl. So Mark and Donnie, if y'all are listening to this, I definitely want to work with you guys.
Yeah, hit us up, man. Hit him up.
Yeah,
because I'm sure I'll end up tailing it on someone else.
But it was a shame that the Wahlburgers here in Raleigh shut down.
I think it was just poor management, really, man.
Yeah,
I don't really think it was anything on them themselves. I think it was just whoever was running that thing here just did a bad job.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
I heard it was like meat was like expired or something like that. It was just everything was bad. They were like running out to the grocery store to get some ingredients. And
wow. But yeah, definitely a fan of the Wahlburgers. So, but Connecticut, lived there in Nebraska, and of course, just around North Carolina. But life is good, man.
That's good, man. That's awesome. You ever been anywhere crazy? And you ever been anywhere fun?
Let's see. Vegas.
Yeah,
visited Vegas.
What happens there stays there, right?
I didn't do anything. And I'm the worst tourist because I'll go to a city and just go to the hotel and be good. Go get something to eat.
I'm going to just grab something, go grab a bite to eat and come back to the hotel.
Yeah, but in Vegas, I did walk the strip. And I was surprised, like, places were closing. And I thought I was in Vegas where,
where everything stays open all the time.
But I saw them, like, closing clubs and stuff. And it was crazy. The one thing that I wanted to do was see the fountain at the Bellagio. I'm in front of the Bellagio. Didn't think to walk behind it until I was getting on the plane the next day to go to LA. I'm like, I didn't even see this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would have been the highlight. Yeah. I was able to see the Palms Hotel, but I'm like, nah, it's a little too far to walk. But Vegas was cool. And crazy? Nah, not really. I've been to Florida. Had fun in Florida. It was back in '93. Like, all of my stuff is old type stuff, but
yeah, I used to go down to Florida a lot. I had some family that lived down there, and we would drive down 95. That drive down 95 is crazy, man. Yes. It is just a 2-lane road into nothing. So I've been all up and down the East Coast. I've only ever flown like twice.
Love flying.
I love it, but I've only been on a plane like maybe 2, maybe 3 times. Mm-hmm. But either way, I've been to Canada, all the way to Florida. I've been to Texas. But 95 is a crazy ride, man. And we blew a tire out one time on 95. So that's not fun, dude.
It's not, especially when your tags are expired.
You're like, shit, I really got to get up the side of this road.
And it happened to me in Cincinnati, too, when I was coming back from Nebraska. Yeah, I blew a tire, and a cop pulled up behind me. So I laid my tire on top of my license plate while I was fixing it. But
I got pulled over. I had a little Honda Civic hatchback, and my tag went out. My buddy had a Honda Civic hatchback that had a tag that was good, so I threw his tag on my car, and I was driving, and a cop pulled me over and saw my tag in the back laying on the seat,
right,
and was like, "What tag is this?" And he ran that tag that was on the back. He gave me false plate tag, like a ticket. I had to go, and then the crazy thing was, one of them. Oh, when I was in Connecticut, I had a court date that I was supposed to be at. And I wasn't able to go. So what you do is you call a lawyer, have them show up for you. Right? So you don't get a failure to appear. Well, I called this lawyer. I paid him to show up for me and give me a continuance. He never shows. I never get a continuance. So now I got a failure to appear. So now I'm sitting in my house, at my buddy's house, and my roommate calls and says, "Hey, man, I was sitting down eating dinner with my mom and my sister. I had them over, and the cops just came knocking on the door looking for you. And I told them you weren't here, but they had to search our entire apartment, our entire townhouse. So they searched it from top to bottom looking for me." And he was like, "I don't know where he is, but they gave me his card," and he called me. And so I called the cops and everything. They come over to my buddy's house. I'm like, I'm not going to fight them. I mean, it's just a failure to appear. It's nothing. I don't think it's anything major. But anyway, they put me in cuffs. I'm like, is this really necessary? I mean, I told y'all where I was. You got to cuff me. Like, I'll sit in the back, cuff me in the front. Don't cuff me behind my back.
I'm claustrophobic.
I can't. I don't like it. I'm a big dude. I've always been a big guy. But so yeah, I'm sitting in the back, and then the cops start talking about like, well, I'm a talky person, so I'm like, well, y'all just get on shift tonight, and they're like, no, we've been on. I was like, well, what's the craziest thing you've gotten on tonight? You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, well, nothing really, just kind of some traffic stops. I'm like, well, you want me to poop in the back seat, make this interesting? They're like, please don't. I'm like, all right, no problem. And then like, so I get them going. We're all talking and laughing and everything. And by the time we get to the station and they're pulling down underneath the thing, because that's where they got to take you in, they're taking, look at me, bad host again. Somebody else is sending a message. But they're taking bets on how much I weigh. They're like, how much you think he weighs? You think he weighs this much or this much? Or like, you think he weighs like 240 or 250? I was like, you're never going to guess my weight. You'll never guess it. And they didn't. I think I was like, at the time, I think I was like, I was probably like 240, but I think they were guessing like 180. Or 200. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm standing there. They check me in. This is the first time I've ever had to have anybody like, cup me down there that wasn't me or a doctor. So I've never gone through that experience before, man. Yeah. That strip search, that's some serious stuff. They're making you squat down. You're coughing. They're looking at your starfish. You know what I mean? They're getting on. It's crazy. So anyway, they process me. They get me in, and they put me in this holding cell. Right. And now I'm in this holding cell with these 30 other people, and there's not a room to sit. So I sit on the floor. I'm just sitting there. Probably an hour or so goes by. I'm just kind of taking it all in. This is the first time I've ever been in like a jail situation. I'm like, this is interesting. I'm like, how much longer do I sit here before they move me upstairs? And I'm sitting there, and this guy like reaches inside of his jacket. And apparently, I guess he had a hole in his jacket, and he had found like a crack rock that he had stuffed in his jacket. And he's like, oh shit, I found one. And he ate it so he wouldn't get in trouble for it. Then he starts throwing up. So they got all this is going on, and I can't get on the phone because this guy's like camped out on the phone for some reason. He would stop every now and again, try and be all nice. I'm like, anybody need to use the phone? I'm like, yeah, I do. He goes, all right. And he'd get back on the phone and keep talking. I'm like, dick, man, but I'm not going to stand up to this guy. I'm my first hour ever in jail. I'm not going to start that kind of shit.
Yeah, that'd have been a great story, though.
Yeah. So another few hours goes by. My friends have managed to bail me out. Okay. So now they move me from one holding cell to another holding cell so they can process me to leave.
Get you out, right?
Yeah. So I end up sitting in another holding cell with a guy who was a flight risk. His name is Brandon. And he called the cops, let them know. It was like almost the exact same situation that I had. I was like, this is nuts, man. Craziness. And I look across, and they have like one guy in his own cell. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, how do you end up with your own cells? Like, you got to be doing something crazy. Like, something ain't right. Yeah. So then they come around there. I've been there long enough now, they're going to feed us. Right. So they bring the trays through, and they give him the tray, and he just takes the tray and throws it against the wall and grabs the stuff and smears it on the glass. And he's staring at me the whole time. And I'm like, why are you staring at me? Dude, there's nothing. I'm not doing anything here. I'm just existing. And he's like pointing at me, and he like draws his pentagram on the window, and he flicks me off. And I just look at him, and I'm like, well, fuck you, buddy. I'll flick him off too, because I know I'm getting out, right? So at this point, I got some balls on me.
It would have been great at that point. His door would say,
I'd be like, no, close that door. I'd be like, other Brandon, help me out. We're in this together, buddy. Brandon's for life. I end up getting out, man. But that's my jail story. And I never went back to jail after that.
Yeah, I've been twice, but like, I'm kind of like, one was for speeding. Yeah. Believing I was 16, going 96 and 55, and they arrested me. Like, my first time.
Probably get arrested doing that, yeah.
But I asked them, I'm like, yo, how am I going to get back to my car? Can I follow you to the jail? They was like, nah, you under arrest. So it was two cops. They put me in the front seat. Nah, they did cuff me in the front because I told them I was trying to get to the hospital. So they said, since you're feeling bad, you can sit up front and we'll put the cuffs in the front. So I'm like, all right, cool. But
note to self.
Yeah, I irritated those cops though. I'm asking like what everything in the car does.
What does that button do?
What does that do?
Was that the siren? Can you hit the siren?
So he answered the first two questions, and then after that, he was like, Teron, just sit down and ride. And it was funny because they ended up pulling a guy they thought was drunk would be in the car.
So now you're on a ride along.
Yeah, I'm like Kevin Hart with Ice Cube and probably Mike Epps because there was 2 cops in the car. Right? So they pull this guy, clearly drunk. They gave him a breathalyzer. He's inhaling. But they let him go. I'm like, yo, let's switch.
Another note to self, man. 1, I'm on my way to the hospital. 2, inhale on the breathalyzer. Don't let your ass go.
I'm like, yo, can we switch? Like, I'll walk back to my car at this point. But the thing is, I was rushing to bring my curfew. My curfew was 11. I had a strict mother. It was 11 o'clock curfew. It's 10:45. I'm 30 minutes away.
Ooh.
So I got a lot of time on my car, right?
Yeah.
So I get locked up.
Now you're way late.
Yeah, I don't get home until 3:30 by the time I went to jail and got picked up. And so it was the scary. I wanted to go back to jail because when I came around the curb, every light was on in the house.
Not good.
Nah, so the first thing I could think to tell my mother was the car gave out of gas. Like,
yeah.
She said, go to bed. Yeah, she said, go to bed because that don't even sound right. Go to bed.
It don't take 5 hours to walk. You were just down the street, Ron. What are you doing?
Yeah, I was trying to get home.
Oh, gosh.
But that was fun.
I had one other instance running with the police where they actually got me. Me and a couple of my buddies, same white trash neighborhood, a couple of my buddies we went to Walmart and bought a translucent blue paintball gun.
Okay.
Right, so it's the one that took the little CO2 cartridge, not like the big CO2 tank, but you could still buy the small cartridge.
Right.
The ones that people do the whip it shit off of, I guess. Anyway, so they screw those in, and it's pump action like a shotgun. So you have to load each round. So you pump it, load, and shoot.
Yeah.
So anyway, we put a CO2 cartridge in it, no paintballs, and we're riding down the road heading back to the house. We stopped by the movie theater. We just grabbed a ticket to go see, I think it was like the new Batman movie or something like that. And we had got them for later on because they were sold out. So we're going back to my buddy's house to kill some time. And while we're going back, we're stopped at a stoplight. Now, at the stoplight, we're the first in line. And adjacent on the stoplight, another one of our friends pulls up and we see him. And we kind of make contact. We're waving and stuff. And then my genius mind was like, oh, it'd be funny if I fake fired this paintball gun at him. Right. So what I do is I stick it out the window, pop, pop, pop 3 times, pump action. But it's translucent blue. But it does give that CO2... out the end of the barrel. So it kind of looks like, I guess, the shotgun was going off.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't realize the red van behind us was a volunteer fire department guy. So I don't think anything of it. Pop, pop, pop. Ha, ha, ha. We call him up on the phone. Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going about our business. We head over to my buddy's house. And the whole time this van is following us. And I just did notice it when we're getting closer to the neighborhood. And we pull in and we pull up to my buddy's house. I'm like, man, this van's been following us. They're like, yeah, I noticed that. And so me and my other buddy got out and we got probably 200 yards from our car and we're walking towards the van and it takes off in reverse, just squeals tires, screams up the neighborhood. It's flying backwards. And off the distance, you hear this. You're like, what the fuck? There's sirens? What the hell's going on? And it starts getting louder and louder and louder, and you're like, oh. And so we're turning around, man, walking back.
To get somebody.
Yeah. Like, somebody's about to get got, man. We can go see this movie. Completely fucking oblivious. But next thing I know, I see a cop fly around the turn in my neighborhood, like power slide around this turn, flies up. He gets out, pulls his gun out. His buddy gets out, pulls his gun out at me, and then the 3 other cop cars pull up from that direction. About 4 or 5 other ones pull up from the other direction. We're surrounded by cops. They've all got their guns drawn on us. And I'm fucking scared shitless, man. I'm like, my mom's going to kill me, dude. She's going to whoop my ass. And the first thing I do is hit the ground. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not playing around. I don't mess around with that shit. You're pointing a gun at me. You're serious enough to fucking pull the trigger. I'm hitting the ground. So we're sitting there on the curb. And I finally find out what the fuck is going on because the cop is talking to me. I'm like, man, why are we even, what the hell is happening? He's like, we had reports of shots fired that you guys fired a shotgun out of the window of the car. Now, where's the gun? And I was like, we don't have a gun. I was young. So the first thing I forgot to mention, the first thing we did was we hid the paintball gun. We hid the paintball gun in the bushes by my buddy's house. So we kind of looked guilty. But They're like, we don't have a gun. They're like, where's the gun? I was like, we don't have a gun. Where's the gun? I was like, it's in the bushes. So they go and they get it, and then they all just start laughing because now they realize that they're out there in full force pulling guns on kids. I think I didn't even have a license. I didn't get my license till I was 18, so I think I was like 16 or 17.
Right.
So they're pulling guns out on kids in a neighborhood, and they got news and observers down there taking pictures. Because I asked the cop, I was like, man, can you tell that guy to stop taking pictures? He's like, no, it's free. You know, they can do that. I was like, no, dude. You know what I mean? Learn something. That's how I learned. You can take pictures of that shit.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that was crazy. We got taken down to like a substation, and they were questioning us, trying to pin some other shit on us, and they're like, "Oh, this is gonna follow you for the rest of your life." I'm like, that's bullshit. And lo and behold, man, it was like 10 years later. I had gotten a job. I was selling insurance. I was living in Wilmington. I had already gotten the job. I had moved from Raleigh down there, and I'm working, and they go, they call me on my phone. They say, "Hey, Brandon, can you come to the office?" I was like, "Sure." So go to my manager's office, and he goes, "All right, let's go to the other manager's office." Like, we're starting to go up. I'm like, I thought I sold enough policies last month. Like, like what's going on? They go, "Brandon, I guess it was an oversight, but we notice here that you got a charge on your record of going armed to the terror of the public." And I'm like, what the fuck? Armed to the terror of the public. Like, I shouldn't be allowed to get on a plane if I got that charge. You know what I mean? And then I had to explain to them the whole story of what happened. Like, it's this clear plastic paintball gun. I was 16 or 17 years old. You know, that's not who I am. I'm not going to be coming in here dry firing a paintball gun at everybody. And they're laughing and everything. But I ended up leaving that job anyway. Yeah. But yeah, that shit follows you, man.
It's wild. Luckily, I haven't been in anything serious other than like that speeding ticket. But I guess the circumstances or the consequences behind that. My senior year in high school, I'm riding a bus because they took my license for a year.
Yeah.
So I had to ride a school bus my senior year in high school.
That kind of sucks. Yeah. I always had a buddy who had a license. I never smart enough to keep my grades up because they hit that law came into effect. Like, you had to have like a C average or something to be able to take driver's ed. To do it. Right. And I was playing football, so I had the average, and then I stopped having the average. They kicked me off of football. I wasn't able to do this and that and everything else. It's just like, it feels like the system's set up to where, like, if you don't want to try, they make it so easy to just not do a damn thing.
Absolutely.
Because if they would have forced me to still go to football, they would have forced me to go take the... I probably would have done better. Now, it's not on them to force me to do anything. It's on me to do it, but still.
They have a big role in it.
Yeah. So when your stories, man, when you're writing and all that, and your ideas, and where do you draw from? Is it just from personal experiences, or do you just have one of those creative minds that can just make up a story and have all the details?
I would definitely probably say it's just trying to be creative. Or I'll take a cliche and see how can I turn a cliche into something, either a series or a movie.
Yeah.
Just like I have a project called I'm still flirting around with the title. Right now it's like The Missing Hour, where like daylight savings time.
Yeah.
You know, when I have like, there's a lady, she's pregnant for the first time. We turn the clocks forward. But there's a physicist who learns how to get into that missing hour.
Okay.
And he ends up killing her. But her husband is kind of like his rival or whatever. So he kind of, over that, you know, that span before we had to turn the clocks back, he figure out what he did. So he creates a formula to get inside the hour when we turn the clocks back to go back and save his wife.
And the wheels turning.
Yeah. So just, some people be like, yo, you bored. You got too much time on your hands. But I just love to create, you know, and again, like, see how many, like, can I find that one person that's like, you know, jump on board with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who will ride shotgun.
Yeah.
This adventure right here. So, so it comes from that, man. And then just, like I said, I just love to create. You know what I'm saying? I was by myself as a kid a lot. I was a middle child.
Okay.
With an older brother and a younger sister. So my brother didn't want me around him. And nor did my sister.
Yeah, right. So you're just kind of sitting there like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I played ball with Michael Jordan several times. A tree was my best friend. You know? Yeah. But just being like that kid and just having to create your own fun.
Yeah.
It just kind of spilled over into
See, I was an only child. So
okay.
It's almost the same thing.
It's the same.
But like, I was the only child, single parent.
Okay.
So it was just me and my mom growing up for a lot of it. So yeah, I get that, man. Like I'd go out back. I would cut a tree down because I was bored. Like I'd just go out in the woods with an axe.
So we had the woods.
And just go. I'd be like, I'm gonna cut this tree down. Yeah. And I'd just cut a tree down. Sometimes I'd build a little shed or something, or like a fort that I could play with, Michael Jordan in.
All the time. Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, Mike and I, Yeah. And I was the MVP of the league when I was balling with Mike.
Yeah, for sure.
He would pass to me. So
every time.
It was wonderful.
It was amazing. He hit me with that trampoline dunk, too. Kill it.
It's funny. I did have a goal in the backyard. I'm from the country. Mm-hmm. So my basketball goals were nailed to trees.
Oh, yeah.
And we had the perfect tree where the stump, like, it's slanted out a little bit. So if you step on it just right, you get more height.
Oh, okay. I hear you. So yeah, I was thinking you were sitting there, the ball goes down and it comes back to you because of the stump. Yeah.
That happened also, but I was able to dunk. Or jump off that stump.
Jump off that stump and get that little extra height.
Yeah, so it was fun, you know what I'm saying? And I grew up in a cool neighborhood where a lot of my friends that I went to school with, you know what I'm saying, we all lived like a mile within each other.
Yeah.
So back then there wasn't as much technology as it is now. So get off the school bus, jump on your bike, and you go into your friend's house.
I remember, man. We used to go out there and throw dirt clods at each other.
We had that too. There was a field across the street from my
house. Somebody get fucked up one time and get that one with a rock in it. Yeah. You're right in the head. You're like, oh crap, Brian, don't tell your mom. Don't tell your mom. We'll fix it.
Yeah, it was so funny. One night, it was right after peanut season.
Yeah.
Again, it was a huge field across the street from my house. And my brother and my cousin and I took some firecrackers over. And we lit them and like, the dry weeds caught on fire. It started. So we took off running. So now we're standing back watching this.
You're like, oh shit.
We're like, yo, we probably need to do something. So then we ran back and you see 3 guys are just stomping flames out. But that almost been kind of major situation.
I never forget, man. One year, my old stepdad, R.I.P. He bought me, every year we'd go to the beach. We'd get a house at the beach. We'd rent it with like 4 or 5 other family friends, and we'd all pitch in. So we'd get like a $4,000 house for like, everybody pitching like $800 for that week. Yeah. And you're all family gathering, cooking out.
That's the best.
Good times, man. Great times. But he'd always get us firecrackers because he would go down to south of the border.
Mm-hmm. Everybody.
And if you're listening from out of state or somewhere else, 95 in North Carolina runs... Well, from north to south, you can from New York to Florida on 95.
Yeah.
But it'll go you straight into south of the border. And south of the border is where, since fireworks are illegal in North Carolina, you can go to and get the ones that go up in the air and go boom.
Mm-hmm.
So he would go down every year and he'd always get some. And so we had the mortars and we took them out on the beach. And I was like, dude, I got an idea. And they're like, what? I was like, just go with it. And they're like, all right. So I took the mortars and I took the tube. Because my friends are stupid too.
Yeah.
I took the tube and I threw the tube. So I no longer needed the tube for these mortars. So I took 3 of them and I wired them all together. I braided the fuse together. I stuck it I dug a hole, stuck it in the ground, left about 1 inch or 2 of the fuse sticking out. And me and my buddy were up there and we lit it. And we saw it go and we saw it go down in the sand. And as soon as it went down in the sand, we're like, all right, run. So we turn and we run. And nothing happens. And now I'm like, is this a dud? Is this a dud? Did a dud go off? I'm like, did I not do it right? Did something not right? So we're like, well, fuck. We thought we waited long enough. We walked back up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, because they have 2 charges, the initial charge is the one that shoots them out.
Right.
And the second one's the one that goes boom.
Yeah.
So we get about 15 feet and then 3 of them hop up out of the sand. I'm like, oh, shit. So we turn and run, man. I swear it felt like at like 15 years old, it felt like a movie.
Yeah.
You're running, you're like, you hear it go boom, you just jump. You're like, I know this is in slow motion right
slow
now.
Slow motion, yeah.
It was just going off. But yeah, what's the time I almost killed myself with those fireworks?
Man, that's what's up. That's great. I would have loved to have seen that.
It was fun, man. There's a lot of stupid shit as a kid, dude.
But
a lot of stupid shit.
It was fun being a kid back then. Like I grew up in the 70s, 80s. You know what I'm saying? And that's all you created your own fun.
Yeah, it wasn't.
A lot of it was dangerous.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they had lawn darts. You're chucking the spears at each other. Yeah, so just stand over there, see if you can't catch it. No thanks.
We would play like full contact football.
No
pads, no helmet, or anything.
Somebody gets tackled into the drainage ditch.
Yo, my brother, Dervin, salute. I'm glad you're still alive. My brother tackled this dude named Dervin so hard. He knocked him about 10 feet into the woods. It was crazy, but it was fun. You know?
It's what you did. You were kids, man. That's what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We had some shady ramps that we had built.
That's oh man.
You know what I mean? Stuff that I still got a scar. I got a scar. Listen to that scar there on my pinky.
Yeah,
you can hear it. Listen.
That's what's up.
We had built what we called a triple jump, big jump.
Gotcha.
Right in my little white trash trailer park that we were in, and triple jump, big jump. Man, all the kids were doing it. We'd come down this hill, get some speed. You have 3 little small jumps, and you have 1 big jump. Triple jump, big jump. Makes sense. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. Hit the 3. I never take another two pedals. Right. So I hit the big jump, and I go up, and I lift up the front tire, and the back tire stops about 6 inches from going off the edge of the ramp.
Wow, so
and I nosedive straight back down, scrape my knuckle. There's bone showing. I never go to a doctor or anything. You know, we didn't have health care in the trailer park. So I go back to the house and just bandage it up, and now 36 years later, I can pop my knuckle. Yeah.
But let me tell you my story. And it's happened so long ago, but I'm too cool to be embarrassed, man. But same thing.
You got to be too cool to be embarrassed.
We're making up ramps. Same thing. But my cousins, they live in a trailer that had the window unit air conditioner. So it was up on a 2x4. You know, that was the prop. You know, keep it level. So the ramp, once you hit the ramp, you know, fade to the right, go behind the house.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to my bike or me in midair. I jumped. And somehow came off the pedals. So when I landed, I wiggled and hit the 4x4 that was holding
the AC unit up.
Right. So the AC fell out of the window onto my head. The impact made me I just dumped all over myself, right? So I'm probably maybe 8-9 years old. So I run home. So I'm crying. It's that cry that I can't breathe, but when you stuck on that one.
Yeah.
So I get in the house. So now like I got my breath. Now you hear the hollering.
Yeah.
It was my 2 cousins and my brother. I just left them and the bike and the AC out the window. My cousin's mom had her back to it. She didn't even know that the AC had fallen out of the window. So when I get to the house, my mom opens the door. Because I'm crying, like hysterical. Like this air conditioner just fell on my head. So she's like, you know, what is it? But the first thing that I think to tell her is I doodled on myself. Like a doodle. So she started spanking me.
thinking that you just shit yourself.
Yeah, just out of the blue. Let me just go right now, you know? So our bathroom and the back door was kind of like directly across from each other. So she got me standing in the tub cleaning me. I'm still crying. She's still a little dirty little boy, you know?
Yeah.
My cousin and my cousins and my brother, they finally catch up. And they was like, is he okay? He okay, you know, just nasty, stealing doodle on himself. So, and they were like, nah, the air conditioner fell on his head. And this. So now my mom, like, she's want to cry and apologize. But I'm like,
it's too late, Mom. You already did it.
For real. We went to the doctor. Nothing was wrong.
But it's a plus.
But yeah, but that's, again, making ramps and jumping and stuff like that.
Dude, same trailer park. Same trailer park. I don't know, if you've never lived in a trailer park or been through a trailer park, when they're putting in a trailer on a lot, they have to dig a septic tank.
Yeah.
So I saw a big pile of dirt. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to jump that big pile of dirt. And I came down the hill and I just saw it out of the corner of my eye and I was like, yeah, it looks like fun. And I had plenty of speed and I was like, man, I'm just going to hit this jump. I'm going to impress my friends. I'm going to hit this jump. We're all coming down. And I'm like, I'm going to hit this jump. And they're like, okay. And they turned to the left to go to my buddy's house. I turned to the right to hit this thing. I jump and then I notice I'm landing in a hole. And it's like a deep hole. And I land and taco the wheel on the bike. Yeah. And now I'm stuck in a hole. Because it's taller than what I can reach.
Right.
And I can't get out. I'm shouting for my friends. I don't think they saw what happened. So I'm standing in the bottom of this hole. I'm like, I think 8 years old. Yeah. And like, I'm hurt. First off, everything hurts. And my wheels busted on my bike. I can't stand on my bike and reach the edge of this hole. So I'm trying to figure out how the fuck to get out of this thing. And I eventually was able to find a spot where it got a little softer. And I was able to stand on the bike and then climb myself out. But man, that was a crazy moment. I spent probably a good 30 minutes in a hole in a trailer park.
Yeah, that is.
I thought I was gonna be cool and jump my bike,
Not knowing the hole's on the other side.
not knowing.
Yo, that is crazy.
Lessons learned, man.
Yeah, but that's what life is.
Yeah,
that made you the man you are today.
Oh,
you know
I still get stuck in that hole.
Yeah,
I'll still jump. I don't care.
But you know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Yep. Shout really long. Cry for a little bit. Go, man, why are you so fat? And then be like, okay, get your ass out of this hole.
Yeah, get out. Every situation you can relate.
Yeah.
Runs parallel.
Always comes back to the trailer park, man.
Yeah.
I grew up in a lot of trailer parks. A couple different ones.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we're King Ding-a-ling. We had the double wide. Most of the time we weren't.
Yeah, I grew up in one too. We had my mom still is in one. Yeah. So we weren't in a park, but there was a park up the street, and it was the best, man. Like,
dude, I had so much fun in the trailer park.
Yeah, you make like wherever you're at, you know what I'm saying? Like you can either be there and be miserable or make the best out of it.
Make the best of it.
And we did. Like, Sundays were the best of our neighborhood.
You ever go just like grab a pole and you go find a pond and go fishing?
We did. Yeah.
That was fun too. Yeah.
Yeah, my stepdad would my first time going fishing was with him. And it was, I don't even know if there's any fish in this because I'm like,
we'd go to
how
a
would
creek,
any fish be in here?
Yeah, we would go to a creek like, man, there's fish in here. We're kids. We got this. We're going to do our own TV show.
Yeah, so yeah, we did all of that, man, from running outside barefoot. And it's funny, if I see an adult outside with no shoes on, I'm like, put some shoes on.
Put some shoes. But I don't want to see them toes.
We stayed with no shoes on as a
constantly.
Kid, like running outside. And
man, I remember came home one time where the trailer park, this is Cross Creek in Nightdale. Shout out if you're listening from Cross Creek and trailer park in Nightdale. But back in the back of that trailer park, you hop this fence and go over into this field. And in the field, there was a pond, like a horse pond. Mm-hmm. It was a big horse pond. There was some fish in there. And then there was a creek that ran along the backside border.
Right.
And there was a tree that had fallen over the creek, and it was like half of the tree would stop about the center line of the creek. Gotcha. So you'd have to get to the edge of the tree and then jump to the other side of the creek.
Right.
The other catch to it was that the ground that you started on was lower than the ground that you had to go to. So like you start low and you climb this tree up to the other ground. So you're jumping off the edge of this tree, but you still have to jump up to get to the ground. So I'm the big guy. I've always been a big guy, and it's never changed. And all my friends do it, and they all jump. And of course, my fat ass jumps, and I barely miss the edge with my feet. And I fall into this creek, and I'm cold. And I come walking back home, and my mom is like pissed. She gets so mad. She's like, why are you always coming home wet? I'm like, I'm sorry, I fell in the creek. She's like, you don't ever come back home wet, fall in the creek again. Just don't come back. And I was like, shit, man, that's pretty heavy. And lo and behold, I fall in the creek again because all my friends go. And, I'm making it about 80% of the time here. I'm thinking my odds are pretty good.
You got to keep going to
right. This is the hole in the trailer park. You know what I mean? Now I got to cross this creek. Yeah. But, man, we used to have a lot of fun. But I used to fall in that creek all the time. My mom would get so mad. I come home wet.
It's funny how, like, some of our stories, they are real similar. Because we had, like, right up from my house. Again, there was a lot of fields. It's somewhat of a farming town. But there was a creek, and it was me and two of my little cousins going through the woods. It was maybe 4 feet wide, maybe 5, but they were little. Mm-hmm. So I jumped, and just to make sure I could make it. So then I jumped back. No, I jumped, and then like my second to the oldest cousin, he jumped, fell in, but he was reaching for me, so I pulled him out.
Yeah.
It like one leg was in. He had like one leg on the dirt, one leg is in the water, but his facial expression was classic, right? So then my little cousin, I said, all right, look, I'm going to throw him. I'm going to throw him. You catch him. So like my cousin because again, I've jumped back across to get with my little cousin. So like, I'm going to throw
you're
him.
Just flexing on everybody.
Yeah.
Like, look at me. Look at me. I'm going to throw you across. I'm going to pull you out.
I was out there. So look, when I throw my little cousin, my other cousin doesn't even try to catch him. He just hit the ground. Like, what are you doing?
Didn't even put his hands out.
No, he didn't do anything.
But you threw him across.
I threw him. He made it. He didn't get wet, but he just hit the ground.
Oh gosh! Did you have to throw them back across when you went back?
No, we shot another way.
We
found another way to go.
Hiked your way out.
But but that's what we did. We're running through the woods. You know what I'm saying? Just creating fun bicycles and all types of stuff. Like you said, throwing when the farmers come to plow the fields, they will leave those big dirt balls.
Yep.
Yeah, we had the dirt
chunk
ball
them
fight.
at each other.
Yeah, we did
all the time. And me and my cousins went out in the woods one time. I had just gotten back from this like retreat where you did it was like for bad kids. They send you all together to go like team build.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kids with attitudes, whatever. Yeah. So I went and did one of those things where they did zip lines.
Oh, that's what's up.
And it was awesome, man. I had a great time.
Yeah.
Zip line down there. I was like, oh, dude, this is sweet. I was terrified of heights, but it kind of helped me with that fear of my heights, climbing up the side of the trees and all that mess and the zip lining. So I go over to my cousin's house probably a couple weeks later. I'm like, man, I was telling him about the zip line stuff. He goes, oh, this is cool. Now, my cousin's about 4 years younger than I am. Gotcha. I'm the oldest grandkid.
Right.
So my cousin's about 4 years younger than I am. And he's got his friends in his neighborhood that he lives in. And I'm telling them all about this zip line thing. And they're like, man, that sounds like fun. I'm sitting here thinking in my mind, I'm like, I can make a zip line for these people and we can have a great time. Right. So we go out to the back of his house, pick 2 tall trees. And we're like, all right. We hammer some boards to the side of the tree, start climbing up. We make this zip line. We build a whole platform on top of this tree, man.
Gotcha.
And we have the wherewithal to build like a platform that can hold us. And ladder up and down that can hold us.
Right.
But we use a nylon rope that was just this little thin, like clothesline rope that I tied to one tree. It tied to another. And I tied a knot around it and a knot around my cousin's belt on his buckle, thinking that this knot's going to slide. You know what I mean? And then everything's going to hold. And he's like, all right, we're good. I'm like, yeah, we're good. He goes, dude, he slid maybe 6 inches. Before everything said snap, and he went straight to the ground on his back. And I was like, because he was like, all I could see was his mom just killing me, dude. My aunt, she would have murdered me.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Dumb stuff as a kid.
Yeah, we didn't do the zip line. We climbed a lot of trees.
Yeah.
I had like the perfect tree. It was a dogwood, but the way the branches like split up like handlebars.
Yeah.
So that was like I would climb the tree and just sit on it like,
yeah,
you know, on
whatever,
go
to wherever you want.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So again, my imagination, it was just me. So I was on Star Wars a couple of times. I survived. Nobody was able to kill me.
Here you are.
I played with Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? He let me take the last shot. All that types of stuff. And a tree was my best friend. Yeah.
Heard that, man. I know that kind of childhood.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, man, it's been a good time, dude.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man,
been real good.
I like coming up. We'll have you come back and we'll just talk some more stories, man. I love doing stories and everything. Definitely. And well, as soon as we're done here, me and you are gonna talk some more about what you got going on and doing that. But Toron Rodgers, right?
Toron Rodgers.
Toron Rodgers. You can find him on Facebook. Find him on Instagram.
At Toron Rodgers.
At Toron Rodgers.
Yeah.
If you guys are out there, you're artists, actors, actresses, anything like that, hit him up. And he's always looking for help, looking for good talent, especially local. Like to source out local people.
Yeah, absolutely. So we like with that because the show that we're on the 5th at the Blue Oasis, as it continues, is basically going to turn into an open mic. We are looking for talent. You know, anybody can sing comedy and also spoken word.
Yes. So
anybody that has any abilities like that or just want to come out and showcase or work on anything at the Blue Oasis, it starts May 5th and then it'll be every other Sunday.
Every other Sunday.
After that. So.
Yep. We'll both be out there the first one. So you can come out there and check us both out.
Yeah.
Get a taste of Toron Rodgers comedy. Kind of know a little bit about his childhood now.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But I appreciate it, man. We'll get you back out and we'll do it again here soon.
Yeah, that would be wonderful, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right.